Hello dimmer.
Hello, y'all. Welcome. Very excited to be here with y'all this morning. Oh, okay, it takes roughly 5 seconds to send a TTS. Okay, good to know. Hey, YRG, welcome. Nice to see you again. We are going to be following up on the last stream that we did. And we are going to hopefully be getting our secure self-hosted web app working. For those of you who have not been to one of my streams before, hi, I'm Dimmer. I'm a coach at Major League Hacking. Oh, my camera is off center. Is that better? I think that is better. Hi, I'm Dimmer. I'm a coach at Major League Hacking. Today we're going to be talking about self-hosting encrypted web applications. This is a thing that we started last stream, and we couldn't access it locally. And I think it is because of the encryption stuff. I don't have it set up. I don't have like an SSL certificate for local connections. I don't even know how you would do that. So we're going to jump straight to hosting it on the internet and hope, fingers crossed, that it doesn't completely break. That's what we're going to be doing today. I'm quickly just
Pardon
changing
me, I just want to test how much time it takes to say 16 words.
Well, there you go. Okay. I was just changing some settings. Hey, Eclectic, welcome. For I just got my money back. Yeah, that might have been the settings that I was changing. Hey, Spider-Man. So, okay, here you might notice that I might seem a little bit different than usual. And I just refunded everyone's money. And here's the thing. This is probably going to be my last stream for a while. It's still too early to talk about like details, but I just recently signed a contract with a company that has a, what is it called? An attention and effort clause that basically states, I know that I can't work anywhere else, including contract work at MLH. So there are things that I can do and there are conversations happening, but this might be my last stream. I'm very sad about this, but also I'm very excited about this job because it's a wonderful career progression, all of that. But I've been streaming for 2.5 years at this point, and it has been wonderful. I love it, and I love hanging out with y'all. So, yes, a little bit sad. Thanks, 404. I wanted to say that early on so that as people trickle in, they can be informed by chat and things like that, because I don't just want to like disappear off the face of the earth, because I'm not super active on social media. But with that, what I'm hearing is that you may do passion project streams as a streamer on Twitch. Possibly. That part of the contract is, again, conversations are being had. I've talked with some other people who have the same contract about what they interpret that as. And then I'll eventually probably talk to someone in HR and whatever. So yes, it might happen. It might not. No promises. I'm super sad, but also super happy, but also super sad. That describes how I feel too. I'm really excited about this job. I've been working really hard doing all of the like interview prep, and it's been like 6 months in the making at this point. But also, yeah. Oof, indeed. I just like sent in my letter of resignation to my day job at my local library yesterday, and all of this. It is quite sad. Okay, oh my goodness. Viewership tanked. I think this is important to talk about. Quick recap. I missed the first few minutes.
Good job.
Thanks, Spider-Man. Recap is just I wanted to get into this before we got into the main meat and potatoes of the stream. I'm getting a new job. It hasn't started yet, but I signed the contract, and the contract has a clause in it that states that I can't work for anyone else or do any other work outside of that company. So nothing is for sure, but chances are this is going to be my last stream. So just wanted to let y'all know. What's the job about? Congrats. It is a co-op software developer job. Co-op as in student co-op, not as in worker cooperative. So full-time summers, part-time school year, with a very large computer science company. I think, let me double check. This is slightly embarrassing.
Good job.
Okay, this tells you my priorities, because I actually didn't know what FANG stood for. It is a FANG company, which is, I don't know. Part of me is like, wow, this is really cool. And part of me is like, I'm live in front of a bunch of people who are like, I don't want, good jobs exist outside of FANG companies. I have a job at a FANG company. Or I've signed a contract. Some paperwork still needs to process. So again, it's why I'm not giving more details in case it completely explodes. But I'm far enough that I have a start date, I've signed a contract, and I've started winding down my other jobs. So unless something goes horribly wrong.
Woohoo, woohoo, woohoo.
I'm trying to think. I believe my contract explicitly states that there's nothing they can do to restrict me talking about. It's for a lot of money. I'm trying to think, can I just like say, this tells you how like nervous I am about this job, because usually I just say anything on stream. It is for nowhere like that, YRG. It is, I will say this, it is doubling my library pay. So yeah, it is. Yeah, I'm really excited. Hey, Batu. Welcome. I'm trying to... I'm going to... Please give us at least one place where we can contact you to see if you're alive or not. No way you respond on Discord. I do not. Discord is not a platform that I'm on. I will think about this over the course of the stream. LinkedIn's very cursed. I will think about this, but I have heard you. What about make your own chat app? True. We have an hour and like maybe 40 minutes. We can create our own chat app in that time. That'll be reliable and stable enough that it is the sole source of communication that I use. But okay, what's going on, people? I got a job, and that job has an attention and effort clause that means that I might not be able to stream again. So that's what we've been talking about. I've thank you, Vatu. It is bittersweet. I'm very excited about this job and also sad to leave my job at the library and to stop streaming. But I'm sharing that with people so that I don't just disappear with no warning, because I've been doing this for a long time. Attention and effort clause. Let's see if we can... Wow, these are all for like executives. Is that to prevent working 2 jobs remotely? I guess. That makes sense. It's also to prevent you from doing contract work on the side and stuff like that. There are a lot of different ways. What's the job about? Oh, wait, one sec. I'm going to ping Shem senseless right now. LOL. What's the job about? It is a fairly like traditional computer science software developer job. It happens to be at a FANG company. And it is a student co-op position, so full-time summers, part-time school years. I believe, if I understand who my manager is, I will be working in the, like... I'm going to double-check this. I will be working in, like... the kind of like data storage processing side of this company. If the pay is fair, the attention expectation is fair too. The pay is very good. I'm like doubling my library pay. Student co-op at a FANG company is pretty cool. Enjoy. I'm really excited. It's not really showing because I feel like so much like bittersweet, like so many bittersweet feelings about stopping streaming. I would assume you are an employee and therefore can do whatever you want when you are not working for the job. That's what all of my jobs before that have done this. Basically, it is you can do anything you want except for other work. You can get an exception signed. So there are ways, but but find out if you need to give up your streams. I think they will be happy for you to continue building your streaming audience because ultimately they can benefit from it. Indeed, there is, in the clause, it did say that you can get a written exception, but that is not the first thing that I'm going to ask. Hi, I'm starting this job. Can I like get an exception to my contract? So there will at least be a small break in me streaming. Ritwick, that is true. I'm testing tools and langs because Dimmer is recommending them. That's very my heart. Yes, you can get an exception sign so you can continue to build your streaming audience. Thanks, Patu. 404 is just screaming in the corner. Hey, VK. Long time no see. How did you prepare? Give us some insights. I didn't prepare in any way that was especially special. Hacker rank. I think I've talked about this before. There's a really good algorithms course. That's the UC San Diego's Data Structures and Algorithms specialization on Coursera is very good. It is incredibly good. If I look at courses, I have taken Algorithmic Toolbox, which is just the first course in it, and it was really good for preparing or learning this sort of thing before I got to it in a traditional degree program. I didn't end up needing it for the interviews because it was like a student position. But generally, your programming interviews require this sort of knowledge. Did you just apply for the job during the summer? I actually sent in my application back in February. Part of the delay there is that, is it free of cost? You can audit it for free, and you can access the auto grader for full price is $80. They offer financial aid that can bring that down to $20. That's USD, which I understand is difficult depending on where you are in the world and how currency conversions work and things like that. But you can audit the course for free. But the job is a student co-op, so it requires you to be a student, and my student status just restarted again in May. So that's when like I applied way back when and then became eligible more recently. Currently, I'm learning web development. That is exciting. By the way, do you think streaming helped you get the job? Some of the projects that I did while streaming might have. Streaming itself didn't, because it isn't. I hope it's part of the monthly plan at Coursera. I believe it is. I'm like 90% sure it is, because I was looking at the monthly plan when I was signing up for this. Streaming itself, I don't believe did. If you wanted to be in developer relations, streaming would 100% help with that. But this is more of a traditional like software developer, like behind the scenes role. So some of the projects that I did on stream, I had on my resume. I'm also a student at IIT Madras in India, BS Data Science and Analytics. Interesting. Okay. Well, congratulations. Excited for you. Good luck. Thank you, Batu. Dimmer after this job. I am excited because, as you might notice, my apartment is all empty white walls. And my big goals are to pay down loans and to maybe get a used couch off Facebook Marketplace. This is my big, I'm going to be making more money. Now Dimmer can run Google Cloud for like 2 seconds. I don't know if I'd be running Google Cloud. What was the benefit of HackerRank? HackerRank just gave me, I hadn't done, so HackerRank wasn't, they didn't look at my HackerRank profile or anything like that. I didn't use that for anything. It was just to get some practice problems of like, here are some short, like computer science story problems, basically, to to get me refamiliarized with Python and with like solving that sort of problem. HackerRank has an interview toolkit. I'm trying leak code and have never felt dumber in my life. I get that so hard. There's so many of these problems that I just went, huh? And needed to stare at for a very long time. The thing that people who are more experienced than me have told me is that the point of programming interviews, especially at the level that we are operating at, is not for you to get all the questions right. It is for you to show your thought process, your skills, your like the way you approach problems rather than necessarily solving it. If you are like a senior developer with 10 years of experience, they might expect you to solve it. But if you're applying for internships and things like that. Trustpilot gave me a problem 0 years ago. 9 years ago. Okay. Trustpilot gave me a problem 9 years ago, which was about cracking a hash using tries. I failed miserably. I mean, that seems like a very weird and difficult question. My questions were pretty simple, like string manipulation and stuff like that. One of them was like creating a like some object-oriented like toy like whatevers. What are the best ways to get an internship? I don't have too much advice for you. I really don't. This is where I am like trying to remember that like the reason why I really don't know what the best ways to get an internship are is because the program that I applied to is very unique and also is regionally based. That I was applying to this company's local office. So it wasn't like I guess this is what I will say is that make sure you apply to things that aren't the like international super competitive like internships, is that you can apply to other ones as well. And there's like so much like luck and like, I don't know, the fact that I have one of these offices locally that offers a program that is only for local students, like that's a big advantage in finding an internship. So again, that's why like I'm not the person who has a ton of good advice for you there. Especially because in this job market, it is so hard to get computer science jobs, specifically entry-level computer science jobs. And I want to acknowledge that. Okay. I think that is enough of me talking about my big changes happening. Let's talk about self-hosting secure encrypted web applications by showing you this screen, unable to connect. This is, our server is currently theoretically running. Can you share the HackerRank toolkit? Oh yes, thank you. I was going to do that and I just closed that tab. That was a good one, 404. Okay. Dropping this in chat. These are their interview preparation kits. Again, the difficulty of things like HackerRank and LeetCode is designed for them to be a challenge for career computer science people. Not like, so if you cannot solve them, that does not mean you are a bad person. That does not mean you'll never find a job. That does not mean any of these things. Okay. But we have this screen, unable to connect.
Good job.
Yeah, okay, really quickly. I said, like, I kind of went like, to LinkedIn, because I'm not on LinkedIn a lot. But feel free to send me a LinkedIn request, y'all. just search dimmer MLH. God, I guess I'm just gonna say it. My first name is still on there. I do not go by my first name. Please do not call me my first name, but it is Nathan Dimmer. I have 10K to spend in 1.5 hours. And you do. It's a question of how do you want to spend it. Wait, 404. Oh no. Thank you, 404. Wait, what? Do we lose our points? I have 7.3K. You do not lose your points, but you can only redeem them on my stream. So if I am not streaming, that's not... Is that me? Did I change my LinkedIn? I did change my LinkedIn. Okay, that's my LinkedIn.
Good job.
Oh, really quickly, I'm just gonna share this because if people are gonna be seeing my LinkedIn. Hello, y'all. This is going to be a very chaotic stream, as if it isn't already. I had a feeling 404 was going to do that. That's why I turned down the volume. That's very smart. Oh, goodness. LinkedIn, you are such a difficult platform. Why can I not just view this page? I hate that you always need to be signed into LinkedIn. YRG face is kind of different on LinkedIn. That picture is 6 years old. Reminds me of Sheldon is so cursed. That's so deeply cursed. I turned off channel points there just for a second. This is the best thing a metal pipe enthusiast like me can think of. Because the response of VK, what is happening, is very appropriate. This stream being only metal pipes will not work as a stream. Yeah, my ears eclectic. So I'm gonna ask y'all to have restraint and space out your metal pipes, or at the end we just have a just all out metal pipes at the end and we hold our applause till the end, just so that we are not... I have 49.8k points and have never used one. Oh my goodness, everyone has so many points. Oh. 404, when you said I have 110 because metal pipes go burr, I thought you meant 110,000? Hey, I have 5.5k. How do I redeem them? I have turned off redemptions. because we were just having a constant metal pipe sound. I didn't think about channel points. If I... Is there anything that y'all have wanted channel points to redeem that they have not? Feel free to drop your ideas in chat. The Blahaj song, I don't know what that is. In essence, I'm asking, I could create some extra channel point rewards for today to celebrate. And there's also... Yes, okay, I know, I've seen this one. So did you only focus on the UC Algo course and HackerRank Toolkit? That's all I did for the interviews themselves. I did your like traditional interview stuff of going through and thinking about my answers to a couple classic interview questions. I didn't do that much. Well, that's not entirely true. I did do a lot of prep for the technical side of the interview. But again, I was applying to a student position, so that was not the most intense. I love this. This is iconic and very good. I'm like, everyone's like, Eclectic, I don't know why this is. It's very good. Oh my goodness. When are we going to start today's session? What? Eclectic, that stupid shark and that baby shark is a nightmare? 1 second. Don't you talk to my son or my son's son like that ever again. Excuse me. I love Blahaj with maybe a slightly irrational amount. Dimmer was emo? Wait. I'm trying to... Huh? I mean, there was a moment where I had jet black hair because we can do... I had a mix of this in my YouTube feed. The shark is cute, though. The shark is so cute. And very soft and very cuddly. If you have not held a Blahaj, I highly recommend. Okay, wait. 404, you sent a clip. Let's take a look at this. To see what 404 has been working on. I trusted you. I trusted you.
Rickrolled.
The fact that I trusted you again, and it happened again. Okay. Okay.
We broke dimmer again.
That was incredibly good. Credit where credit is due. That was. Oh my goodness, my hair was so much shorter. Yeah, you did not need 25k channel points to do it. Though, if you use 25k channel points, I don't stop it. I let it run for the entire runtime of the song. Iconic. Okay, so this is where I believe you're referring to me as emo. This is where I was growing out my hair, and I went, at one point it was purple, at one point it was dyed like a light pink, but that pink dye ran out really quickly. Like it just like washed out. So then I was just blonde for a period, and I didn't want to be blonde. So I tried dyeing my hair brown, but the brown dye, I left it in too long, so then I dyed my hair black by accident. Oh, audio.
Dimmer the best.
Show you what this is doing.
We have more
easier to
tangents in the
visualize
stream
it
than the
our
boss
editor
graph in
here.
my calculus homework.
But that you timed that so perfectly. Oh my goodness, I literally started to go but then you beat me to it. This right here is why I wanted channel point rewards. Mwah, that is perfect. Okay. Oh my goodness, I forgot how early that this was like new to channel point stuff. Like you can see the wow. Very fun. Also, that tangent joke was very good. There's nothing to explain, nothing wrong with emo, just enjoying the variety. That is a thing that I've never done something like streaming where I have, like, we could legit have a dimmer compilation. We probably could. There's like, again, 2.5 years of streams. If not more. At this point, no, there's like 3 years of streams at this point. I have 29k points and nowhere to use them. I feel your pain. I will turn on channel points again at the end and let people just go ham. We'll have a 100 metal pipe salute. I wish Shem was here. She has like 100k channel points. I do want to say that there is a chance that channel points can be used by like some other stream at a future time, but they aren't being used right now, and you get channel points every time you watch a stream. So I understand the want to. So just to confirm, we don't lose the channel points. You do not lose any channel points. Nothing changes about the channel points, except for there will be nowhere to redeem them on these streams, because my stream is the only one where you can redeem them. But like y'all talked about, there is a chance that I will be back streaming, but it will be at least a couple of months. At least 1 or 2 months before I come back. So I might, depending on how things work out. But no promises. We could legit have a dimmer compilation. On it, but I have some deadlines today. That's in respect to the compilation. Thank you. I was like scrolling through chat trying to be like, what happened there? Okay. With that, I'm going to turn channel points back on. I will turn them off again if we just get metal pipe spam, but I do like leaving them on so people can use channel points. And we will go back to the actual topic of today's stream, which is securely self-hosting web apps, where you can see here, unable to connect. I believe that this is because this application is only designed to be connected to via some very secure protocols. That's what I'm hoping, because I again combed through everything that I did to configure this, and I can't see anything wrong. So we're going to try just setting everything else up, and if it still is broken, then I'm going to cry, but if it just magically starts working, I'm going to be very happy. That's where we're at with this. Dimmer, I'm going to miss you. I'm going to miss y'all too. This has been, again, I've been doing this for like 2.5, 3 years at this point, and it's been really cool. I really love streaming, and I love interacting with y'all. Wish I had some. I would have 100% metal pipe spammed. LOL 404. You already did. I would have 100% metal pipe spam, but that's why you don't have any points right now. I literally was like in the middle of trying to be like, well, is there anything really special I could do with these points? And then you just like, boom, dumped them all out in metal pipes. Take my account. I don't know what you mean by that. I don't need anyone's accounts. Dimmer could refund me. So I've been thinking about it, but part of me is like, well, if I refund you right now, you're just going to do it again. So I will refund you before our metal pipe, like, cacophony salute. Yeah, so I could spam it right now. There you go. There you go. I will refund people before our big finale. Specifically, I'm refunding you, 404. I break the points economy for you. Okay. I'm going to SSH into our server here.
Share screen.
I have not shared screen yet because... Oh. Because I'm SSHing in, which is not something that needs to be hidden, but I just want to double check. Great, there we go. So, if we go back to our documentation here, yes. We are now on to, we've installed it. It's running, or can run. Let's take a look here at. Oof. Okay, that's not as I thought that was going to be a big scroll. Okay, great. I'm going to remove our existing service. Ha ha ha. Great, okay. And let's system D this again. Okay. I just was looking through to make sure this is the stuff that's really important, just making sure that it is pointing to the same place, and I believe it is. So I can just copy this. And we are going to nano Etsy. Is it not Etsy system D? It is Etsy system D. Did I spell? Ah, there we go. Okay. Crypt pad.service. Oh, ha ha ha. I need to sudo this. There we go. Okay. Now I can write out. And if I sudo system control, let me make this slightly bigger for us. Great. Sudo system control start crypt pad. Whoa. Okay. Great. Oh my God, I spent 150K last year on metal pipes. That's insane. Am I supposed to be doing something or just watching? You can just watch. We did start this on a previous stream, so you could be following along. But at this point, I would probably just be watching and learning about the theory behind this, because this requires you to have a hardware Linux server somewhere. I don't know how to virtualize this. So now if we've started CryptPad. And if I refresh this, still broken. Okay. Let's just try hosting it live to the internet. Because that's the smart way of doing this, right? Okay. So, this is the really interesting thing about CryptPad, is that it requires two domains, the main domain on which users access your instance, and a sandbox domain or a subdomain to which a set of restricted content security policy headers are applied. And the point of this is so that, it says right here, the intent of this system is to limit the risk of cross-site scripting vulnerabilities, allowing attackers to leak user data. Sensitive computation, like processing of cryptographic keys, is handled on the main domain, while the user interface is implemented on the sandbox domain. In short, your risk of cross-site scripting is a lot lower when you need to jump between a sandbox and the main domain. And it is an incredibly interesting way of addressing this. And I'm not a security researcher or a knowledgeable person about security past your basics, past your whatever, your CompTIA Security Plus. But I think this is incredibly cool. And we're going to edit our config file to respect this. So what we are going to do is we are going to sudo nano user, it's in home cryptpad, not 3 cryptpads, just 2, and then our config. And in here, we are going to change our domains. So our unsafe origin and our safe origin. And we are going to set them to, our unsafe origin is going to be crypt.dimmer server.duck.dns.org, and we will talk about duckdns in a sec. And our safe origin will be encrypt.dimmer server.duck.dns.org. I'm going to write that out. Our ports can be left at defaults. Great. Excuse me. So that's setting our both domains in there. And then generate one TLS certificate that covers both domains. We will be doing that in a sec using certbot from EFF. We love the Electronic Frontier Foundation. And then we need to correctly assign both domains and certificates to the example Nginx configuration. So this is where we are going to be setting up the actual routing from the internet to our server and how that gets sent back. Nginx can be used as a reverse proxy, which is the tool that we want to use here. Another reverse proxy tool is Cloudflare Tunnel. Which allows, it allows your, ensure your server is safe no matter where it's running, public cloud, private cloud, Kubernetes cluster, or even a Mac Mini under your TV. It allows access to your server, your computer from the public internet in a more safe, secure way. We are not going to be using Cloudflare Tunnel for this. We're going to be using Nginx because this has a pretty complicated Nginx setup that I don't know how to replicate in Cloudflare. This is one that people have recommended to me. The other one is Nginx Proxy Manager. Nginx Proxy Manager is a GUI that allows you to do a lot of the Nginx stuff for your simple stuff very easily. This is what I was using at first. CryptPad is the only installation that I've done that could not be done in Nginx Proxy Manager, so I switched to full Nginx. But if you are trying to reverse proxy some stuff from a Linux server, this is what I recommend, to be honest. It was the easiest for me to get set up with, and it makes it so easy to get your SSL certificates. Hey Dimmer, making and maintaining a Linux server should be a fun learning experience, right? Yes, it should be fun. I have been kind of bad at this because I have a bad habit of, I think a hyperfixation is probably the best way of talking about it, because when I was setting some of this stuff up, I just got so lost in the sauce that I that was all I did for a couple of days. Like I would go to class, go to work, come home, be an SSH, configuring server stuff. And I installed a whole bunch of different things at different times and troubleshooted 4 or 5 different softwares that I never ended up using. So you don't necessarily need to do that. I think that this should be a fun learning experience. I've learned a lot more about Linux and a lot more about hosting and things like that. So the good news is that they provide an example Nginx configuration file, which has really wonderful comments explaining what it is doing and why. So I'm going to copy this. We're going to open up VS Code here. Our Rust work. I'm just going to create a new file for this. What file type is this? .conf. Great. Okay, so this is the file that we are going to be editing. Actually, before we get right into editing this, we are going to take our 5-minute bio break, just because now seems like a much better time than 5 minutes from now. So I'm going to put on a 5-minute timer. We will be right back. I'm going to put on our special music for our break. Drink some water, stretch, take care of yourself. We will be back.
One, 2, 3, and 4. Count what you have now. Don't count what you don't have. Count what you have now. Don't count what you don't have. Find that you have so much. Can't you see? Can't you see? 幸せの基準測るものさし自分の心の中にあるのさ You can find, you can find 足りないもの数えるくらいなら足りてるもの数えてごらんよ Count what you have now Don't count what you don't have Can't you see? Can't you see? Have now. Don't count what you don't have. You can't have so much. You can't find. Can't you see? Can't you see? Have now. Don't count what you don't have. You can't have so
And we are back. Hello, 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 y'all. Welcome. Okay. Hello. I was trying to figure out how to play this music. Okay. Sorry, that took me a sec to understand what you were trying to say. I'm going to add that to my list of streaming tabs. I want to know if I use Ubuntu server and apply any free SSL certificates to it. For example, for a chat application, would it be same? I don't know. Would it be safe? Do you mean? Oh, you're good, Batu. I could see reading through that what you were trying. So safe is an interesting word there. Because I think even CryptPad talks about this. Safety is and security is done through multiple different like layers and ways, and there are many ways that things can become insecure. So an SSL certificate theoretically prevents traffic that is going to and from the server from being decrypted en route. But the problem is that only works if you trust your SSL certificate, which generally you have to. But I say have to there because if you don't, you just drive yourself insane. But there are plenty of examples of usually nation states. Yeah, almost entirely nation states. Basically leaning on certificate providers to get certificates that allow them to do man-in-the-middle attacks and things like that. So SSL is not a one-size-fits-all. It is not a silver bullet, but it is a good start. And that's then when you get into, like, how is it end-to-end encrypted, and there are other things on top of that. But generally, if you're doing anything, you want it to be over HTTPS, and there are very easy ways of getting SSL certificates. But it is not the, like... it does not ensure that your app is safe. Especially if like it is stored on the user's device unencrypted and things like that. So there are many different ways of going about this. And this is where you'll notice that we are not trying to create our own hyper encrypted app. We are implementing one that already exists. And like if you are trying to message someone securely, I would just use Signal. And it is cool to do these as projects, but like in the real world, if you are trying to be secure, you want code that has been out for as long as possible and used by as many people as possible. The best cryptographic code is the stuff that has been around a really, really long time. Because if it hasn't been broken in that really long time, chances are it like hasn't been like really substantially broken. There's a saying in security that anyone can build a security system that they themselves cannot beat. But just because you can't beat something doesn't mean it can't be beaten. Well, in that absolute context, I feel even Tor is not safe in a true sense, isn't it? Well, Tor is very different. Tor is more safe because Tor is decentralized in a way that SSL certificates are not. I say this about governments doing this because there's a history of at least I know the US government doing this. And that's like the question of like, what is your threat model? What are you trying to protect from? And if you're trying to protect from governments, use the stuff that has been out there for as long as possible and know that if they want to get in, they will get in eventually. If you are trying to protect from like some just like random drive-by, like malware, things like that, then doing your like good passwords and SSL and making sure that your server is not broadcasting all ports, including insecure ones and things like that. That's what you can do. So there's like a gradation there. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's relative, not absolute. Yes. But I'm just trying to say that SSL certificates in and of themselves are not the entire solution. And if you're looking into the structure of more secure applications, end-to-end encryption means that it is not encrypted by the SSL certificate alone. That it, of course, goes over HTTPS, but it is also encrypted from the server and on the server itself, and is encrypted from your device and on your device itself. So multiple layers of encryption and security. Hopefully that makes sense. Great. So taking a look at this, this is our default. Let's make CryptPad live. Also give info on the hardware you are using. The hardware I'm using is an old laptop. That's all you really need to know. It was a fairly nice laptop 6 years ago. Still is a pretty nice laptop. But I'm just using an old laptop. The hardware itself is nothing special. We are going to look through this config file here and we're going to make changes. I'm not going to go over every comment because there's a lot here, but I know from doing this before, we do not need the Let's Encrypt web root. Do we need the Let's Encrypt web root? No. Right? I'm like 99% sure that we don't. We will see in a sec if this gets broken. That's for SSL, right? Yes. So Let's Encrypt is SSL. We're going to be using CryptBot and get our certificates through Let's Encrypt, but I don't believe we need this anymore because of the way that certbot, not CryptBot, certbot has changed. Let's Encrypt certs, yes. And then here's the main thing. We have our main domain and our sandbox domain. Our main domain is crypt.dimmerserver.duckdns.org. And our sandbox domain is encrypt. encrypt.dimmerserver.duckdns.org. We're going to let our allowed origins stay the same. We don't need this to be able to be embedded anywhere else. And then our API and our files domain. You'll notice here, this is specifically If you don't use dedicated domains, this can be the same as main domain, which is what it's going to be. Because we're
Good
doing
job.
this for a very, thank you 404. We're doing this for a very small setup. We're using their advanced setup, so it can scale larger, but we're starting this small. This is for if you want to separate out things between different servers. I finally scraped together 250 points. I was wondering that you just went completely, entirely broke over the course of 5 seconds, but... And then here we have our server name. This is very important. I missed this the first time I was setting this up personally. This is where we set our server names in Nginx. All of this above is configuration for CryptPad, but here's Nginx configuration, and this is what certbot will read to get us our SSL certificate that covers these. But securing web root secures main files at server, right? Yes, the web root is the main files of your server. What this is, Let's Encrypt web root, is not going to encrypt your web root. It is to give Let's Encrypt access or to serve the Let's Encrypt web root to your website, because to go through the process of using something like certbot to get SSL certificates, what it does is it changes your website to release a very specific code, and it checks that code against their certificate provider to make sure that you do own the website that you're talking about. We don't need to expose a web root here, and we don't actually have the Let's Encrypt web root set up because we are not going to be using Let's Encrypt. We're going to be using certbot. So that's our server name. And then we have our SSL certificates here, where these will be set by certbot. But we need to give at least some files so that it compiles so that certbot can even look at them. Give me a sec. I need to check where they are stored on my server. Actually, y'all can see this. Can y'all see this? No, I don't trust y'all with this one. Because I'm about to expose the other things running on my server. And it's not that I don't trust y'all, it's that I don't trust a recording of this existing on the internet forever. Great, okay. I have grabbed my SSL certificate information and I've pasted it in here. These again will be updated and changed automatically by certbot. We don't need to worry about those working. And then this is where we set our Diffie-Hellman parameters. Diffie-Hellman key exchange is a way of exchanging public keys in a way that is cryptographically secure. And we need public keys because all of this SSL, all of the encryption that we're doing, both the SSL and the end-to-end encryption, is done using Diffie-Hellman key exchange and RSA encryption, which you can learn more about at this is going to be a broad overview, but it is my absolute favorite introduction to cryptography. I'm going to drop this link in chat. I took this course like 5 times when I was younger because it's just so fun. The way that they talk about cryptography, the way that they introduce it, it's very good. So that link in chat is if you want to learn about Diffie-Hellman and RSA and all of that at a high level. This isn't like learn to implement it or anything like that. What is DuckDNS? We will talk about this in a sec. DuckDNS is a dynamic DNS provider. And then we can leave most of these set. For ciphers and protocols and things like that. Just scrolling through here. Traditionally, I don't believe we need to change any of this. Again, this would be very difficult to set up in a place like Cloudflare Tunnel. It is nice to let it use all of their pre-configured setup. I joined a capture the flag team a bit ago, and I was the assigned cryptography guy. Man, I hated those AES decryptions. I can't even imagine doing that in like a capture the flag setting. Capture the flag sounds incredibly fun, but also incredibly detail oriented and stressful, like a security hackathon. I've thought about doing it, but I've not personally found a team, and I haven't looked in a long time. Scrolling through here, I think we have set everything we need to set. Yeah, great. Let's try it. So if we sudo nano etc nginx conf d crypt pad.conf, and we paste this in there, we write out what we're doing. Nginx, I've already installed Nginx. Nginx is a web server, and it has good configuration for reverse proxy stuff. Nginx confd is a folder in which you can drop all of your configuration files for all of the different things that you want it to serve, and it will load those into its main configuration and serve them automatically. There are going to be better tutorials out there for Nginx, but that is the broad overview of what we just did. Now, theoretically, what I can do is I can run certbot and tell it, hey, I'm running an Nginx server. And it asks, hey, oh, look, all of the things running on my server are showing anyway. Here are your active domains. And you can see crypt and encrypt in here. That's because we set the server names. So certbot can see, hey, you have the, where we set the server names up here. Server name. And duckDNS, not duckDNS, cryptbot is saying, hey, I can see all of these different things. Do you want me to generate an SSL certificate for them? And I click enter to select all of them. And it says requesting a certificate. Now we hope that this doesn't break. This is our like big fingers crossed moment. While this is loading, I'm going to drop the link to certbot here, which is my preferred method of if you are going to be managing your own SSL certificates, do it through certbot. The Electronic Frontier Foundation is specifically an American organization. I don't know. Do they do international stuff? I believe they're specifically US. They might have international branches. But they basically just do a lot of, hey, okay, certificate's loaded. But they just do a lot of digital privacy, digital rights advocacy, all of this stuff. They're wonderful. Surveillance self-defense, privacy badger, some really good stuff. And they are the ones who make certbot. And I trust them to manage my SSL certificates. So you'll see here that it says successfully deployed certificates for all of these, and you can see it edited our configuration files to include those certificates automatically, and it will automatically update our certificates as they change. So some wonderful stuff from certbot. Now, if I sudo system control restart nginx and sudo system control restart cryptpad, is it recommended for production SSL 2? Yes, it can be. SSL is the same no matter what. So your cryptbot certs are going to be equally valid as any other certs. It might, if you are working at like a large institution, they might have their own certificate methods with their own preferred signing and stuff like that. But it is valid for production environments. It is specifically designed for production environments. If you aren't in production, you don't need SSL. If you are in production, you really need SSL. So I've now restarted those things. I'm going to double check our... Okay, theoretically, if I now go to crypt.dimmerserver.duckdns.org, that was typoed to heck. Please, 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 please. Okay. You'll notice that this is mildly broken,
Good job.
but it is at least showing something. Let's take a look. Let's inspect here. Let's take a look at our console. Content security policy. The page's settings blocked an inline script from being executed because it violates the following directive. CertBot provides resources for outside the US, of course, but the Electronic Frontier Foundation is mainly a US organization. They do a lot of advocacy and policy work, and I just wanted to see, is EFF an international? Oh, international nonprofit, digital rights group. I guess I just know of their US stuff. Anyway, very cool organization. Okay. So the reason why I was celebrating here was because you'll remember that this just gives us unable to connect. And this means that we do have CryptPad running and the server is running successfully. Now you'll notice we have a content security policy error here. The page's settings blocked an inline script from being executed because it violates the following directive. Which means that either our configuration of CryptPad itself is wrong or our configuration of our Nginx is wrong. I've seen this exact error before, and I don't remember off the top of my head what I did to fix it. Uh-oh. Okay. It is loaded again. The thing that we talked about with DuckDNS, which I can now talk about, let me open that up and make sure that I'm not... CORS policy error. I don't believe this is CORS. I believe that this is our content security policy, which is what we're doing. It is similar to CORS, but I do not know much about CORS. Basically what this is doing is this is that distinction between our unsafe domain and our safe domain, where something in there is wrong. Yeah, something in between those two things is wrong, where it is not letting us load the script in the place that we need to. So, DuckDNS is free dynamic DNS hosted on AWS. And what dynamic DNS allows us to do is my ISP can change my public-facing IP address whenever they want. And DuckDNS allows me to continually map the DNS address or the IP address that my internet service provider gives me to a domain of some kind. So in this case, it is dimmerserver.duckdns.org. There are plenty of other ways of doing this. Again, Cloudflare provides a really reliable dynamic DNS service. The reason why I'm using DuckDNS is because it provides us this free domain. And for me testing things, I didn't want to have to pay for a domain right away. So I signed in with GitHub, and it's very easy to set up. Let me sign in. 2FA. Great. I'm going to leak my IP address. Oh no. But you can see that dimmerserver.duckdns.org has a current IP, and it was changed 1 week ago. There is a DuckDNS script that is running on my server that checks my public-facing IP address every 5 minutes, and will update this if that changes. And you can have up to 5 domains routed through here. That is, someone asked before what DuckDNS is. This is what DuckDNS is. Because it is already running, I didn't want to mess with it, especially because I depend on this routing for my music and my audiobooks. But it is a very cool service. So that's DuckDNS. Now, we have our content security policy error. So what I'm going to do is I'm also going to go to Encrypt. Great. Loading again, but again, our policy is telling us to get lost. Ethical Code, the moment you automate the process, you become a SaaS founder. I don't believe I can become a SaaS founder based on CryptPad, given their open source licenses. I don't actually know what this is licensed as. Licenses. Many different licenses. Provides a continuous map between our network providers, dynamic DNS, and a domain name, plus gives us a free domain. Script on our server checks public-facing DNS and maps out to domain name. Exactly, 100%. So I'm going to visit our checkup domain here. Yourdomain.com. Whoopsie. It's not CryptPad, it should just be Crypt. One of the things that I don't know if this is DuckDNS or if this is just my server, this is generally pretty slow. My server is not very fast. We're having trouble finding that site. Content security policy, the page's settings blocked an inline script from being executed because it violates the following directive. Script src. Thank you. I can't play that on stream because of copyright. Let's take a look at our config file here. The moment you automate the process, you become a SaaS founder. We're talking about setting up CryptPad. If I were to automate the process of creating a CryptPad instance, then I would be a SaaS founder. For certificate renewals, there's no problem there. Certificate renewals are designed to be as easy as possible by cool organizations like the Electronic Frontier Foundation, because it makes everything more secure. Main domain, sandbox domain, allowed origins, sandbox domain, API domain, files domain, those domains, certificates. Okay. Let's sudo nano home CryptPad config.js. Let's take a look at this. You can automate almost anything for personal use. Yes. I just could not sell this as software as a service. HTTP unsafe origin. Encrypt.dimmerserver.duckdns.org. HTTP safe origin encrypt.dimmerserver.duckdns.org. That all looks good. Etsy, Nginx, confd. The fact that I know where all of these are on this server tells you how many hours I've spent trying to troubleshoot this. Main domain, sandbox domain, SSL certificates managed by certbot. Woot woot. I'm just Googling this. I might have flipped my safe and unsafe domains between my two configs. Let's take a look at that. Unsafe, crypt, safe, encrypt. Main domain, crypt. Sandbox domain, encrypt. Let's look at the documentation. Main sandbox domain. Great. And those are with those are with HTTP and HTTPS. That doesn't make sense to me. One of my weird noises into the microphone. A 502 error, bad gateway. Uh-oh. Okay, that is at least better. Different error is better than nothing changed. It is. You'll notice we still have the same errors as before, but we have more errors, which gives us more information. So we have our API config here, which is where we got that 502 error. I'm going to try something that's a little deranged. Actually, that seems... check what's running on localhost 3003. So I don't know how I can check localhost here because I'm SSHing into the server. Hey, okay, that's loading now, which is good. And it's loading successfully, which means it's not our config file. It is our Nginx proxying, because this is what it should look like. .303 theoretically shouldn't be anything, because that is the port that we are using for WebSockets. Sudo netstat. Is that LP, I'm assuming? Let's try it. Netstat not found. Net tools. Okay.
Hola.
Hello, hello. Zamunda, it's been a while. Net tools. Great. Now if I try. Whoa. Hello, 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 y'all. Okay. To be frank, I don't know what I should be looking for here. Because here I have 3000 and 3003. No, we don't have a port conflict. I know that for sure. Good to see you too. I believe that everything's running successfully on the server. How do you know that for sure? I know that for sure because I've gotten this running before and I have not installed anything else on the server since then. So there's nothing to It looks like it's bound to, but not localhost. Yeah, so that's what I was. You'll notice in here, I was doing a find replace on localhost to replace it with R192.168. So all IPs is okay because that is not for this one. All IPs is our Apache setup for. Which one is that? All IPs is our Apache setup for Navidrome? I believe Navidrome, which is just what I'm using to serve music to my devices. So yeah, okay. Great, okay. Nginx config proxy pass URL should match whatever the service is bound to. Let's take a look at our Nginx. Sudo localhost will resolve locally. Yeah. Sudo nano etc nginx confd cryptpad. I am not going to change where localhost resolves to, but that is good to know. Here we go. Okay. Great. Although on Linux, if IPv6 is enabled, then localhost resolves to : : 1. Good to know. It has been a while, a long while, since I've done networking stuff. Great. If I write this out, and then sudo nginx -t, just to double check. Hey, it compiles. Compile is the wrong word, but sudo systemctl restart nginx. Because this is working. If I now refresh this. Hey, okay. Great. We still have an error here.
Good job.
Thank you, 404. I'm writing down 404. Give me a sec to write down your contact info.
Good job.
Great. 404, I will send you a message. Thank you for coming. I am bad at saying bye. I don't need all of y'all's Discords right now. It's just because 404 is leaving early. I'll talk about how you can contact me when we're closing. Dramatic tension indeed. So what I'm going to try doing is I'm going to try... I'm going to sign up for an account, and I'm going to set that account as admin. Uh-oh. Okay, that worked passably okay. There were some hiccups there where it stuttered. I'm creating an account, and then we'll set it as admin. This is where I'm going to, again, look at our console to make sure nothing is broken in the background. Oh no. Okay. Well, let's take a look at our diagnostics page. Can you run multiple things with multiple domains on the same laptop server? Yes, you can. That's what Nginx is doing. So I have music.dimmer server. I have abs.dimmer server. All of those are being routed to different applications internally. And I could also set up multiple domains through duckDNS that would route to the same server. It is just a matter of your server's ability to handle that traffic. Let's do our checkup. Secure connection failed. No cipher overlap. Oh, crypt pad. That's why. Oh, because that's .com as well. Golly gee. There we go. Thankfully, this is loading, so we can do our self-checks, and this will help us a lot more. Ooh. Okay, could not connect to WebSockets. No WebSockets. Ouch. Okay. WebSocket timeout. Trying to figure out what to use these 41.1k points now that Rickroll seems to be gone. Yeah, Rickroll's gone because of copyright reasons. We got a warning, and I was told that I could not do Rickroll anymore. To be honest, I don't think that there's anything that you can do other than ask MLH to add more channel point rewards support to other streams. Okay, let's look at our config here again. Proxy pass. It's interesting because these are different errors than I got when I set this up the first time. Let's take a look at this error. We couldn't find the page you were looking for. API server's block path value. Block path value. Looking at the time, we might not get this working, unfortunately. Sudo nano home cryptpad config.js. Block path. Oh. That's interesting. Block path /block is non-existent. Okay, let's try. Let's build our static pages, or attempt to build our static pages. Woo! Okay. Great. Let's now run our check again. Uh-oh. Well, we got some... Okay, there we go. Just took a hot sec to load. This occasionally happens, and I don't know what necessarily the problem is. Okay, you'll notice we have more tests passing. But not the important ones. It was some unimportant non-red errors that got fixed. That. Content served from the block directory is expected to have X content type options header with a value of no sniff. Dang. Okay, well, we are almost out of time. So I'm going to need to call it here. We got something working, but we still have some troubleshooting to do. Thank you all for joining me. I am going to open the gates, warning y'all, there's going to be, maybe, depending on how people are feeling, a swarm of metal pipe sounds, so feel free to turn down your audio. Go ahead and redeem all of the metal pipes you would like. And while that is happening, I'm going to spin up some contact information for y'all to be able to contact me. Removed my headphones. That was shockingly reserved. Well, we had some metal pipes. They'll probably keep going for a little bit longer. A silent metal pipe was falling in the woods and there was no one there to hear. I am still working on getting some contact info for y'all. Oof is appropriate. Oh my goodness. Okay, I'm trying to set up. What I'm trying to do is...
Tangent alert! Tangent alert!
I'm trying to set up a dedicated email that y'all can send me email to.
Good job.
Here we go. Great. I'm going to drop this email in chat. Dimmer from MLH@proton.me is the email address that you will be able to reach me at. It is an email address that I've just spun up dedicated for this. I'm also going to put it up on screen. Plain text. Paste. Dimmer from MLH@proton.me. Feel free to send me email to that email address if you want to check in. And until an indeterminate future, and maybe never, thank you all so much for coming. I really appreciate it. I've had a lovely time streaming with y'all and to y'all over the past 2.5 years, and I'm very sad to say goodbye. But this is not the end of streaming in general. Coming up after this is Today in Global Hack Week, starting in an hour, and you can learn about all of the last remaining streams that are happening in Global Hack Week Web3. There are maybe like 5 more streams happening. If you want to keep in touch with the MLH Discord community, you can go to discord.mlh.io. Where's the artwork link? Can't find it. I don't know what you mean by the artwork link. Thank you, Circuit Student. Thank you, Zamunda. With that, I'm going to say goodbye. Thank you all so much for coming to all of these streams. It has been a pleasure and a privilege. Good luck with the summer position. Thank you. Thank you, Phasic. Thank you, Ritwick. Thank you, Ethical Cod. Ethical Cod Proton, LOL. Hey, it is a good mail provider. Thank you all so much for coming. And for maybe the last time, happy hacking and keep it crispy, y'all. Bye, y'all.